They said silence was a virtue. But in the courtroom that day, silence was a weapon sharpened by injustice and wielded against a man who had already given everything. His name was Sergeant Elijah Grant, decorated war hero, Medal of Honor recipient, tomb guard of the unknown soldier, a man who stood, rain or shine, in pristine uniform, guarding the final resting place of nameless heroes. A man who had marched 21 steps in solemn reverence more times than he could count. But to Judge Halford Remington, he was just another black man in a uniform he didn't believe he earned. It started with a parking citation. Of all things, a disputed fine issued outside Arlington. Elijah had parked in a no zone to help an elderly veteran who collapsed on the sidewalk. Paramedics arrived. The man was saved. But Elijah received a fine anyway. He contested it, filed a formal appeal, expecting reason. What he got instead was summoned to court, not for citation, but for disrespect of court process. That's where the story begins. Not with the medals, not with the salutes, but with a courtroom full of smirks and a judge in a black robe who saw none of Elijah's service, only the color of his skin. Judge Remington leaned back in his seat like a king on a throne. He stared down at Elijah like a trespasser. And then, in front of the gallery, he said the words that stopped every heart in that courtroom. Before you speak in this court again, remove that Medal of Honor from your chest. You're not in uniform. You're in my courtroom now. Gasps followed. Even the stenographer paused, unsure if she'd heard right. Elijah stood still, his eyes locked with the judge's. Not with hatred, not with fear, but with the weight of 1,000 salutes behind them. Sir, Elijah said quietly, I earned this medal with blood. It stays. Judge Remington slammed the gavel. Contempt. His voice boomed louder than thunder. You think that medal means anything here? In this room, I'm the law, not you, not your wars. And just like that, he ordered Elijah to be detained by court officers, in front of veterans, in front of the widow of the man Elijah saved, in front of cameras. The image went viral. A decorated soldier, in cuffs, a Medal of Honor recipient, humiliated. The nation erupted, but not all at once, not with fire, with questions. Who was Judge Remington? Why did he order the removal of the highest military honor in the land? And why, despite backlash, was the court silent? Here's where things got darker. Because Remington wasn't just a judge. He was a longtime friend of Senator Roland Pierce, a man with deep ties to defense contractors. And Elijah?